Moses, the Great Adventure, Part 2. The Hebrew people walked and walked, but they stopped suddenly. Behind them, they saw a scary sight. It was Pharaoh's chariots and soldiers racing to catch them. In front of them was the big, blue, endless Red Sea. They were trapped. Moses heard the quiet voice of God again. "Tell the people to go forward," God commanded. Moses held his shepherd's staff high above the water. A strong wind began to blow, and the giant sea split open, making 2 walls of water. A dry, clear path appeared in the middle. Pharaoh and his army tried to follow, but God closed the sea. The waters rushed back over the soldiers and their chariots. The Hebrew people were safe. Moses' brave sister, Miriam, began to dance with a little drum, singing a happy song to thank God for their wonderful freedom. Traveling across the hot desert was hard. Soon, the people were hungry and thirsty. The water they found was bitter and tasted awful. Moses prayed, and God told him to throw a special piece of wood into the bitter water to make it sweet. The next morning, a thin, sweet food called manna covered the ground. But soon, they were thirsty again, and the people started to grumble. Moses went to a tall rock and asked God for help one more time. He gently hit the rock with his staff, and clean, cool water gushed out, filling the desert air with the sound of a happy stream. Everyone had enough to drink. One day, a fierce tribe called the Amalekites came to fight the Israelites. Moses stood on a hill to watch the battle. As long as Moses held his hands up high, the Israelites were winning. But when his arms grew tired and dropped, the enemy began to win. Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, came to visit. He was a very wise man. Jethro saw Moses spending all his time listening to every person's problem. Jethro said, "This is too much work for one person, dear Moses. Share the listening with others. Choose good, smart helpers." At last, they came to a huge, dark, thundering mountain called Mount Sinai. It was covered in a thick, special cloud. God told Moses to come up the mountain alone. Moses went up to talk to God and learn the 10 most important rules for everyone to follow. Moses stayed on the mountain for a very long time. The people grew impatient. They asked Aaron to build them an idol, a statue to worship instead of God. Aaron sadly agreed, and they made a golden calf. They celebrated their silly, new god with loud music and dancing. Moses came down the mountain, carrying 2 flat stones with the rules written on them. When he saw the golden calf, he was heartbroken. But God, who is full of mercy and forgiveness, told Moses to cut 2 new stones. The journey continued with a renewed promise to follow God's loving rules all the way to their new home.